In the tranquility of the Venetian plain, hills of unquestionable natural beauty stand out, all to be explored. The Berici HIlls. Framed by villas, amphitheaters, and churches, and serving as the backdrop to many historical events, the Berici HIlls greatly surprise the balance of the natural landscape and offer the highest quality products, authentic cuisines, striking vistas, and colors and sounds that satisfy every visitor. Yet despite its natural serenity, this landscape also serves as a setting for events and as a source of intriguing history and a precious cultural heritage. Don't believe it? Follow us and you will be amazed. Let's begin by walking along the Alta Via Deiberti, a natural trail intended for hikers, bikers, and horseback riders. Divided into 11 distinct sections, the Alta Via is designed for those who love to immerse themselves in the beauty of nature. It has an abundance of flora and fauna, gentle climbs and descents, charming views of farmhouses, small villages, and tranquil fountains. Majestic panoramas reveal themselves from every point along the way. Here, visitors may learn about cavoli and quarries and enjoy the beauty of the Berici. The Alta Via Deiberti passes through the main attraction of your trip, the municipality of Orgiano, appropriately nicknamed the Gateway of the Berici. Orgiano offers its visitors vast opportunities to admire local wildlife thanks to its numerous well-kept paths. It further invites study of its storied 1,000-year history, including a curiosity that 100 years ago, the celebrated Italian poet and novelist Alessandro Manzoni was supposedly inspired to Orgiano in order to write his masterpiece, I Promessi Sposi, The Betrothed. How was it possible? Follow us a bit longer, and the answer will be revealed. In the meantime, let us continue our journey by following path 55 of the Alta Via Deiberti. Beginning in the Orgiano town center, the path meanders for 8 kilometers into the southern Berici hill slopes. There, it crosses part of the Polveria military property with its 11 sentry boxes and 217 unmistakable light points. Ambling towards the Leona Valley, the path offers visitors spectacular panoramas of the Euganian hills where views of the Apennine Mountains may be possible on clear days. Path 55 further provides a popular jump site for paragliders and a solemn reminder of the area's connection to World War II in the form of battle trenches located on its flank. Iris Hill, located 200 meters uphill from Via Castello in Orgiano and on private land, is a site of particular beauty. Designed as an area of serenity and tranquility by owner Raffaello Starengo in 1985, the gardens were inspired following a visit to Piazzale Michelangelo in Florence. The garden boasts over 30 different varieties of irises. The multiplicity of color now dominating the garden, especially during the first 2 weeks of May when the gardens are open to the public. Let us now focus upon the history of Orgiano and its surrounding areas. The human history of Orgiano dates back thousands of years and is attested to by the discovery of prehistoric artifacts belonging to the Proto-Italic Eugene people. Between the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, the Venetians arrived and settled in the area. As Rome expanded its influence into the northernmost niches of the Italian peninsula, the Venetians became allies of the Republic. Roman families, most notably the Aurelians, settled into the area, seemingly providing the origins of the name Orgiano. Little information remains regarding the medieval struggles between the Padovian and the Vicentini for possession of the Orgianese footprint. During this period, as many as 3 castles or 3 fortified palaces existed in Orgiano. Between the 13th and the 15th centuries, 2 of these castles were completely destroyed, one of whose ruins remain visible atop the hill at the end of Via Castello. In 1404, Vicenza, Padova, and Verona became part of the most serene Republic of Venice. Orgiano became the seat of the Republic's civil authority representative, or vicarus, but peace was not to last. Between the 15th and the 17th centuries, Orgiano and its inhabitants suffered through a tumultuous era of invasions by the Visconti and the Gonzagas. In 1704, the Venetian Republic sold 114 fields to the municipality and people of Orgiano. These lands bordered the course of the Liona River, called the Palu, and have remained municipal property through today. The vicariates ended with the fall of the Venetian Republic as signed through the Campo Formio Peace Treaty of October 17, 1797. Thereafter, the fate of Orgiano was directly linked to the fate of Venice. The 20th century saw great hardship, pain, and grief befall Orgiano in the form of 2 world wars. Yet in the summer of 1918, an unexpected event occurred which left an exciting and an indelible memory upon the local psyche. The garden of the local villa Frankensand Piovene was the scene of a great military parade in the presence of the Italian king Victor Emmanuel III, who had come to Orgiano in order to decorate the heroes of the Piave. Following our brief acquaintance with the historical coordinates of the area, let us discover Alessandro Manzoni's connection to Orgiano. Historians believe that the figure of Paolo Orgiano, a disreputable young man who resided in Orgiano in 1600, may be the inspiration behind Manzoni's central character. According to Professor Claudio Povolo in his book Il processo a Paolo Orgiano, Manzoni's examination of Paolo Orgiano's case file by the Supreme Venetian Judiciary is plausible. Let's examine the similarities between Manzoni's protagonist and the historical Orgianese resident. Paolo Orgiano lived in a manner similar to the character Don Rodrigo of Manzoni's novel. He was surrounded by a small court of aristocrats known as bravi. In the village, a young peasant woman named Fiore lived with her widowed mother, where she received grave threats from Orgiano in an attempt to dissuade her from marrying, similar to the character of Lucia Mandela with her mother Agnes in the novel. According to historical record, Fiore ignored the oppressive threats, married, but quickly found herself the subject of unpleasant harassment by the bravi. Fortunately for Fiore, the young woman was protected by Friar Ludovico Odi, who convinced her to rebel. This action angered Orgiano's uncle, Count Frankensand, who obtained a trial against the friar. In this context, the famous expression emerged, "This marriage doesn't have to be done," a phrase that Manzoni would write into the mouths of Don Rodrigo's bravi 200 years later. In short, the town of Orgiano provided the celebrated Alessandro Manzoni with more than one element from which to write one of the most important texts of Italian literature. Elisabetta Caminera Tura presents as another important figure with a connection to Orgiano. Born in Venice to a wealthy middle-class family in the mid-18th century, she linked her name to journalism. At only 17 years old, she made her debut in her father's magazine with translations of well-known French journalists. Throughout her career, she defended the goal of opening up the Veneto to European culture. Her career was not without controversy, given the irreverent force of her Enlightenment ideas, which ran counter to traditional morality. However, she never shied away from her cause. She wrote for l'Europa Letteraria, a magazine founded by her father, for Giornale Enciclopedico, and for the Nuovo Giornale Enciclopedico, a periodical known for its lively debate of new concepts of education and on the renewal of Italian theater and literature. Elisabetta died on June 7, 1796 in Orgiano, while a guest in the villa of her friend Frankensand, following a period of illness. She was buried in the church of Santo Stefano in Vicenza. Blessed Celo was a further celebrated resident who lived as a hermit in the Orgiano Hills during the 9th century. He is beatified by the church, but venerated as a saint with popular tradition, a great solemn feast dedicated to him which is held on September 18th. The cult of Blessed Celo was not limited to the parish of Orgiano, but was extended to the whole diocese of Vicenza in the most solemn form. In fact, it was obligatory to recite the divine office in his honor. Now we transition to the beauty found within the village of Orgiano. One finds the Palazzo de Vicari, the municipal seat of Orgiano, in the Piazza Marconi. The piazza was built by the noble Frankensand family in 1592, as documented by a Latin inscription that is carved on the building's facade. It was to serve as both the seat of the public office and as the residence of the vicar. On the facade, there are numerous stones bearing the coats of arms of the past vicars, along with several inscriptions and 2 tombstones from the Roman era. On March 3, 1897, the building was the scene of a dramatic event which caused great contemporary uproar and which was reported in the local newspapers. 32 women from Orgiano set fire to the municipal outpost during a protest against the municipal administration, which they deemed responsible for the sudden departure of the parish priest. Today, the palazzo serves as a center for cultural meetings and a gallery for temporary art exhibitions. The historic headquarters of the Mutual Aid Agricultural Workers Society was built in 1884 for the purposes of humanitarian and welfare projects. All male citizens could register without any political or religious limitations. Furthermore, it performed the function of parish patronage and assisted with the startup of small craft businesses. Over time, the association that headed the Workers' Society died out, and the property passed to the municipality of Orgiano. The structure was thereafter used as a multi-purpose room, inside which many theatrical performances and public meetings were hosted. Today it is freshly restored, and the structure takes on all of the characteristics of a municipal theater. To its left, an interesting mural has been created depicting the characters of the betrothed. The Church of St. Maria Asunta has ancient origins. Its existence is documented as early as 1263. Since 1560, the church has been entrusted to the Olivetan monks of St. Elena di Venezia. It has undergone several changes over the centuries, starting with the bell tower. Preserved inside are a fresco dating back to 1500 and torn from the oratory of the Battuti, a wooden crucifix from the 1400s, an altarpiece from Mainz, and the painting The Holy Family by Bartolomeo Montagna. An altarpiece from Mainz, and the painting The Holy Family by Bartolomeo Montagna, dated 1500, and of considerable artistic interest. On the high altar in Baroque style are two statues with the saints Peter and Paul belonging to the school of the Marinali, sculptors from Bassano. In addition, a gilded frame of the 1700s depicting the 15 Mysteries of the Rosary and an imposing organ of 1870 can be found. The parish church is accessed by means of a beautiful and spacious staircase built in 1860 and restored in 2008, dedicated to the Maestro Gottardi, from a street that rises from the town square next to the town hall. Attached to the church is the oratory of Saints Antonio Abate and Lazzaro, to which a convent and a hospital were connected in 1300. A plaque in Gothic characters is still visible on the facade of the chapel, which refers to the flagellants who were present and who practiced their activities of penance. Over the years, monuments to the fallen have been erected in the Orgiano area. Their function is not only to celebrate the courage and valor of the army, or to remember soldiers who died in battle, but to identify them individually as heroes, conscious victims, and guarantors of a collective duty towards the homeland. Recently restored is the War Memorial in Piazza Marconi, on the upper part of which stands the bronze sculpture depicting a winged victory with outstretched wings that symbolically holds out the laurel branch with his left hand, while his right arm he holds a sword. There are also memorial monuments located in Piazza dell'Alpino, Piazza del Fante, and in the hamlets of Pilastro and Spesa. Built in 1753 by the Dalla Banca family, the small oratory of San Rocco preserves a 15th century terracotta statue of the Madonna dell'Aiuto, also known as the Madonna della Tempeste, and an interesting painting by San Rocco. Villa Frankensand Pioveni was built in 1710 by the great Palladian architect Francesco Mutoni, commissioned by Giovanni Battista Frankensand, a noble whose family had settled in Orgiano in the 14th century. The monumental Baroque structure is at the center of a large complex of ancient buildings. The kitchen is famous, with a collection of utensils and branches and the sink of red Verona marble which Napoleon desired to bring to the Louvre. While walking through the rooms of the villa, one can admire rooms with canopy beds, the plebiscite room, and the billiard room. There is no shortage of large halls and dining rooms which bear witness to the furnishings and history of past centuries. The villa is surrounded by a refined garden and a park of 40 hectares surrounded by walls. In the park, it is possible to admire the collection of rare tractors and agricultural tools, as well as carpentry objects, a granary, a cellar, and a peasant house. This reference to rural environments constitutes an open-air museum with the name Daily Life and Work in the Villa. The monumental complex of Villa Frankensand Pioveni was once an important literary salon which hosted significant events and personalities such as Elisabetta Tura, whom we met a little while ago. In recent decades, it has been used as a scenographic environment for Italian films and foreign films such as The Priest's Wife and Casanova, as well as the location for ceremonies and cultural events. The fraction of Spesa, a Scaligeri land donated to the Sorrego in the late Middle Ages, is a territory divided into two parts, one of which belongs to the municipality of Colonia Veneta and therefore to the province of Verona. The other part belongs to the municipality of Orgiano and to the province of Vicenza. The two provinces are divided by a small stream, the Ronego, which gives the street its name and which originates from the Orgiano Hills. In the last decades of the 1600s, the Grazia family, then Bevilacqua Grazia, built a wonderful villa now owned by the Strobe family. The unknown architect, author of the work, widely uses rustic ashlar, according to the Veronese custom from which the picturesque grates on the ground floor also derive. It is composed of a central body, the barn, and the oratory. Inside, the neoclassical decorations of some rooms and a very elegant and scenic staircase emerge. The adjoining chapel dates back to 1697 and is also by an unknown author. Inside, there are 3 statues of the altar and the 2 caryatids. The hamlet of Pilastro is located in an area on the plain. It is located on a border area. A small part, in fact, belongs to the municipality of Sossano, where we find the church of Santa Maria Ausiliatrice, built at the end of 1920. And finally, let's get to know Teangio, a locality in the municipality of Orgiano, where a participatory carnival festival was held until 1950. From 1928 to 1967, the Ostiglia-Treviso railway line passed through the locality, of which the roadmen's houses remain. The municipality of Orgiano belongs to the Life Plus project, Colli Berici Natura 2000, co-financed by the European Community and protected by the Province of Vicenza. This project includes actions to conserve, improve, and enhance the habitats and biodiversity of the Berici. A portion of the project includes the area of the Palu, the 114 fields sold in 1704 by the Serenissima Republic of Venice, which was mentioned earlier. We hope to have demonstrated that beauty, nature, and rich history can be found behind the veil of a tranquil landscape, a bit like the Berici Hills, which appear in the Venetian plain as unexpected landmarks ready to tell their story to those who wish to visit them.